Hello. This is Diego Mangabira, and in this episode of Mindset, I will talk to you about why you are not able to get rich and also about some types of skills you need to develop concerning your mind and the spiritual part that you are not nurturing, which could be preventing you from advancing in the way you want in your life. So, join us because this mindset was made for you. Before we start this episode, I want to invite you, who is not subscribed to our channel, to click the subscribe button. By clicking the subscribe button, you will receive all our videos firsthand. In addition, click the bell icon next to it so you receive notifications directly on the YouTube app, your email, or even as a notification on your smartphone about new videos we post here on the channel, okay? If you are listening to us on another platform, like Spotify, Android, iTunes Store, simply go to our YouTube channel now. Cool. So, there are some elements that are important for you to understand why you are not getting rich. Remember, we teach, including in our training here at the Academy of Alchemy of the Mind, about these aspects, and some aspects I will discuss in this video, which is a very simple, basic video to help you understand some key parts. I will start with the first part, which is primarily about how you perceive wealth, right? Wealth, in fact, is not just monetary, not just financial, and not just related to money. When we talk about this, people sometimes get confused because most of the time, they think it's only about money, about having an income, about needing to pay their bills, or about being in debt because they had to go to the bank today. So, they feel they need to solve a long-standing problem with their financial life. What happens most of the time is that the concept of wealth is tied to money, but the principle of wealth is actually much more related to your mind, the way you think, the way you act, and how you react to activities and tasks related to money. When we think about this, we need to talk about physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and material wealth. So, how have you been taking care of your body? How have you been handling your emotions? How have you been managing your spiritual side? How have you been dealing with the material side? And how do you handle your daily activities? The first element related to the mind is what mostly composes our understanding of money. And when we think about this, we see that we are not trained at school for this. We are not trained by our family for this. Most of the books you read will not talk about this. Mentors, people you seek out, close friendships, or even colleagues and friends on social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, will not talk about this. And most of the time, what people tend to do is talk about the same things, get the same results, and this actually greatly affects everyone's quality of life, including their physical health, the way they react with other people, going out, not always wanting an escape to avoid dealing with it. It is what we call always looking for an excuse, right? And an excuse that is not always about yourself, always presuming. So, for example, you say you don't have money, but every holiday you go out, every weekend you find a way to get some money to have some fun, in quotes, knowing that you will return on Monday to your weekly grind, and in reality, everything returns, the responsibilities won't disappear. And, in addition, it also deals with how you do things, not just your job. So, if you push important things aside, only doing what is urgent because you have to, that actually reflects in your life. So, this mental element is very important. If at this moment you are procrastinating, if at this moment you are not taking it seriously, pay close attention because this element is the mental element, let's say, of the mindset we talk a lot about. It has a very important preconception. They are the roots, the bases related to what you think about enrichment. You are not able to get rich because, first of all, you would have been investing in it. So, you will have to read different books, look for more valuable environments, try to grow this financial tree first within yourself. And this leads to new fruits. What happens with people is that they want extra income, quick money, and most of the time, you won't see any rich, millionaire, or even a person who is getting rich, who might earn $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $50,000 a month, or even a year, but knows that there is a graph showing that their income is growing. You don't have to be a billionaire to tell you this, but the mental way of working that in the long run, there is no quantum leap in relation to money. If you are not actually prepared for this, the universe will not need to recomposite this. There isn't. Let's think about karma, the form of Oriental and Asian laws that have been there in the Vedas, 30,000, 100,000 BC. There is no way someone unprepared to receive a large sum of money can receive it because, in fact, you haven't even prepared for it. That's what happens. And then several things come into play that are implanted memories, especially the lottery, the quick money way, where you see people tricking others. You see ways of even financial pyramids that, in fact, you know who is going to win will be who is at the top. I'm not talking about who will be poorer, but who started things, right? And this, I don't know if you have ever been involved in this, but I can say regarding our businesses, many things that I went through concerning my own career had to do with very poorly executed partnerships that did not yield good results, but at the same time, the price of risk is to go forward, to take more risks, which brings new results. Any life of an entrepreneur, businessman, someone who wants to generate new fruits, someone who is working for the new era, the new age of Aquarius, knows that many times this reflects in the senator. Let's think, because we are experiencing new paradigms of rock. You even notice it in relation to professions, right? We notice that several professions that did not exist in the past now exist, new professions that we never imagined would exist. So, if you are willing and ready to step out of your comfort zone, to do new things, for sure, I believe many things you imagine will happen in your financial part will happen. But at the same time, this procrastination of looking for detours that show quick solutions will not be plausible solutions in the long run. You may even make money now, but then you will lose everything. We see this in relation to statistics. People who win the lottery, this won't be shown on social media, on television, but if you get the tactical part, people who win the lottery, most lose everything in 2, 3, or 4 years. We have an average. So, notice that even people who are professional MMA fighters, boxers, we have statistics even in the United States about this, that these people tend to lose everything in 2 years. 65% of these people lose everything. So, the person could be a millionaire, earn $400 million a year, and at the same time, in 2 years, they lost everything. Imagine losing $400 million and converting it to, let's say, just to facilitate our calculations, 1,600 million, right? Imagine losing 1,600 million reais. And then, what's the justification, right? So, people don't think first about the mentality of developing this part of managing their business better. People want the money now, they want money, but at the same time, it is the same thing. Let's think, you learned to walk when you were a child, right? What was the consequence of you walking? You could go wherever you wanted, but you didn't learn to walk overnight, came out of your mother's womb, and already knew how to walk. It took time, yes. The beginning was more difficult, yes, like any practice of the human being, like any element we have in the universe. The beginning of any business, the beginning of any financial transformation is more difficult. So, if you are fighting for your business, if you are fighting sometimes to pay off a debt, if you are working at this moment to prepare your mind to receive as well, then you are doing your homework, in spiritual terms, doing prayers, a monopoly, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you, for example, a great prayer to help you. You can sometimes do daily mantras related to some element in prosperity, for example, listening to Ganesh, a Hindu deity of prosperity. You have, for example, Lakshmi, for example, the goddess of fertility and prosperity. In Buddha, among other saints, anyway, the way you worship. But yes, you can do prayers, the universe, manifestation, creation, whatever you call it. The important thing is that you are in motion, the important thing is that you feed yourself with new content. And you are not getting rich because of this, because you are blocking it. Every time something happens, you block it. Every time a failure appears, which was actually implanted, so at school, for example, it was said that if you didn't have a grade 10, an A grade, you were a failure. But that's not it. Anyone successful will tell you, a mistake, in fact, is not a failure. A mistake is a learning experience. If a mistake is learning, failure is a learning experience. Look at how many learning experiences you've had in your life. Everything that happened in your past brought you to where you are right now. So, if at this moment, you still haven't learned what you should have learned throughout your experiences, things will repeat themselves. This happens a lot with people in relation to money. If at this moment, you still haven't understood the key, it's like a key itself to open a door to prosperity. If you haven't opened it, or sometimes haven't discovered this key in relation to prosperity, in relation to what you do and it doesn't match what you want, in relation to you becoming a different person to receive, then keep this verb in mind: become. Become. If you study more about this, read about this, watch about this, talk to people who also have more of this type of knowledge and also have this money, travel more than you, know more things than you, no matter how afraid you are sometimes comparing, I don't have the money he has or the money she has. Sometimes, send an email on this person's website, send a direct message on Instagram to this person. If there is a contact phone number, how could I know more about your life story, biography? Get a biography of someone successful, someone you admire, in a bookstore. There are many people, but people do not look for it. We don't see many people reading biographies, but biographies help us, guide us to understand that every financial success journey begins very difficult, in the sense that you become this person. And this can be from lives that did not exist, past lives or parallel lives in other dimensions, which corresponds to the spiritual part. And also spirituality is always in everything, as a way for you to have morning rituals, daily rituals to strengthen this search of yours. Also, your execution in your strategy of paying your bills. So, if you wrote down what you need to do, what you need to pay, what are the ways you will manage this, what are the new ways you generate passive income? Today, we have many ways, so we can go from CDB, Treasury Direct, real estate funds. We can talk about, sometimes people also opt for network marketing, multi-level marketing, internet entrepreneurship, digital marketing, or even working with some type of business related to growth, franchise, right? So, there are several elements today, and we can make parallels with the current job. If you are unemployed, look for some elements about this. Always look with a lot of ethics, check if it really corresponds to something serious instead of getting into trouble. Mainly because what happens most with people desperate for money is that it generates many emotions inside us: anxiety, depression. It generates, for example, a very high expectation, and often, we accept the first one that comes up. So, pay close attention to this. It may have already happened to you and may be repeating itself because of this. Stop in relation to analyzing. Here, the power of no comes in a lot. Do you know how to analyze the people around you? If you know people from yesterday or even for a long time, most of the time, they will answer, "Diego, I met them yesterday." So, go deep. No, you don't know the person. So, respect your body, your organism a lot. When it comes to forms of income, I'll be recording new videos about this, but a main tip is, trust your body. You feel that your stomach, for example, the solar plexus chakra, is saying something, a pain, something inside you, in a spiritual way that says you shouldn't go ahead? Another way, the heart chakra, very powerful. We know today, even in physics, that we have electromagnetic waves coming from our heart that are much bigger than our brain. If you feel something in your heart telling you, what we call intuition, without mysticism, which people like to call, but it is physical, scientific, spiritual, we feel that something is pulling you away from this, respect your heart. People stay a lot in mysticism, as I said, but the heart speaks, it is our body. We think that only the brain speaks, because you were conditioned at school, in college, in the media, in social media, that only the brain speaks. But it's a lie. Our whole body speaks. This we see walking in the ancient civilizations as in current science. If you take all the serious new floods, which will not be spread because it is not interesting for various industries, you realize that the more you connect to yourself, the more the enrichment will happen naturally. It will require work, yes, a lot of work and effort, yes. You will have to give up some things that most people don't want, yes. You will have to choose new friendships, yes. You will have to, for example, change the way you understand money, yes. And then comes the hardest part, right? That this part, going back to the beginning, is only your mentality. Are you willing to take the next step or willing to stay where you are? Notice that the statements can even be basic, they can be simple, but the simple way to manage the universe inside you is what makes a universe so big. The universe is simple. Every time you complicate it, you are the one to blame, you are the victim of yourself. Start thinking about this. Things will go more right, will take off the way you want. If you like this episode of Mindset, like, comment, share with us. It can certainly help our channel grow more and more and, in addition, help you get rich. Also, bring new ways about your journey to success. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, just click on the red subscribe button and activate the notifications through the bells. With the bells, you will receive the notifications of new videos on your cell phone, on your computer, and then you will be able to follow everything firsthand. If you want to know our courses, mainly about financial enrichment and growth in relation to money, we have several trainings there related to prosperity that can help you today to get rich the way you want, understanding more the power of money, the synergy of money, and this spiritual significance that you have with money, okay? Much light and prosperity to you. See you soon.